to start with the introduction part, first let us understand the meaning of the term e-commerce. So this has become the order of the day as we are all very much well versed with many of the concepts of the products like Amazon, Flipkart, eBay, or even ordering of a food like the Swiggy or Zomato, and even many a time we keep on paying our bills through online transactions with the usage of Google Pay or Phone Pay and many more. So even the transaction of bills online or transferring of money to any of our friends or relatives, whatever it is. So all such things are considered with the term e-commerce. So it is here actually the e-commerce has made many of our life as very easier going, because when you think of purchasing or selling of your any type of goods in the earlier marketing time period, we have to visit the shop, we were supposed to select there and purchase and pay the bills like that. And many a time even we used to carry the heavy bags to collect all those and come back, and even we were supposed to carry huge amount of money in our pockets, where those things have been replaced by the card money nowadays. So many a time this app look very simple for us, and even we can buy or we can sell all these things in an easy manner just by the click of computers. Or we can say that this is a transaction which works based on the network, including the commercial, financial, technical issues, which are made very easy for us to accessible. So big network which ensures the availability of commodities for us for a safer transactions through electronic medium is known as the e-commerce. So in simple sense, we can say that the e-commerce is one of the biggest innovations of the 21st century. Well, when it comes to the term or meaning and definition of the e-commerce, we can identify that the term E here stands for electronic medium. Any commerce transaction, you people are very much aware, it includes the buying and selling, and at the same time, we are going to give certain amount of money, what is known as a transaction for the worth of goods and service, what we are going to receive. So here, transmitting all such business transactions with the use of electronic medium like electronic network, or usually when we call it as electronic network, it is something which refers to the term internet. So such type of business transactions are concerned to be e-commerce. Mainly, these business transactions will be on like B2B transactions, what we call it as business to business transaction, or maybe business to consumer transactions, or consumer to consumer transactions, or even these may include consumer to business transactions also. In simple sense, the usage of information technology for the business transactions for the first time, which was coined by IBM's marketing in the year 1996, it is known as the e-commerce term. So usually the e-commerce, which was formally defined as a technology mediated exchange between the parties. Here the parties include maybe the individuals or business organizations, or maybe it is between the organizations as well as the individuals. So which were based on electronically based and inter-organizational activities. So when we use the term intra, it is within, or the meaning of the term inter refers to between. So these transactions may be within the organization or maybe in between the organizations. That is business organizations to consumers, or maybe consumers to business organization, and so on. So here, what the most favorable thing in e-commerce is that it is intangible in nature. It includes the ideas, informations, and relationship which were intensely interlinked. Intensely interlinked here is these things are linked through internet. So the major three attributes of these considers are produced to a new type of market space. known as the society. And this is also rooted in ubiquitous electronic networks. We mean to say that consumers at any time period, they can have the marketing transactions. That is the time at any place, any type of transactions which has the commercial transactions can take place. Now let us look into the features of e-commerce. Features of e-commerce are, we mean to say, the features are nothing but the characteristics also. Sometimes the examination can be asked like that. Here, there are a wide range of features of e-commerce. Firstly, it combines a range of processes like the electronic data interchange, then electronic mails, or the World Wide Web and the Internet applications. Secondly, the second feature includes it provides a way to exchange information between the individuals, companies, and even between the countries. Another feature is it comprises the core business processes. Like core business process, we mean like buying and selling of goods and services, and also access of information over the internet. Another feature includes exchange of products, what we call it as earlier also buying and selling. Maybe that even it includes the leasing and entertainment industries, exchange of shares, stocks trading, all these things come under the feature of e-commerce. Through e-commerce, one can also predict, trace, and also analyze the consumer behavior. So, how the consumer behavior can be predicted and analyzed through e-commerce, we'll be studying in the future classes in detail. The sixth one is it includes direct selling of companies' products and even the hosting a platform for the other companies. So usually it provides the best way to compare even the prices of similar products which are available over the net. Well, let us understand what is the need of the e-commerce. So in present scenario, we are all aware we have been used and we have been made very simple the purchase of goods and services through internet. Let us understand the need of e-commerce. So usually uh, the need of e-commerce came to be felt in a huge scale in the post-COVID conditions when we were experiencing the lockdown throughout the country, and many of the time we were feeling very difficult to get the groceries also at home when it was needed. So at that time, it was spread like a contagious disease, like the we started giving orders for many of the products, and we were used to collect it at home itself like that. So here the need of e-commerce is one is to get the more information about the products which you cannot get in the physical store. We mean to say that whenever we click to look into the details of the products in the internet, they will provide us a rich information about the products. Every company to give the informations to their customers, they will be giving the detailed instructions of how to use the product and what are its importance, where to use, where not to use. All such detailed informations will be provided in a much more manner compared to the places where we are going to collect it from the physical stores. Secondly, we try to buy any products which is not available in our space. Many a time in our nearby places, few products may not be available. So that by searching in internet, we can purchase at any part of time. This facilitates the shopping for the customers at their convenient time, and also through the internet medium, many number of products can be available in a single screen, so we can compare the quality, the concept, the price of the product, everything, even the brand related aspects and other things in a similar way or at the same time. So this gets access to a larger market and make easy of the product purchase or return of the product also. Well, the scope of e-commerce includes the four categories. The first one is business to business, second one is business to consumer, third one is government to citizen, and government to business. Now, let us understand the scope of the e-commerce. The first one is business to business. This is nothing but the business to business transaction. We need to say that. This is commonly also known as the e-biz, the exchange of products and services or even the information between the business rather than the business and consumers is known as business to business transactions or business to business e-commerce. So in the earlier interested center of the growth of retailing on the internet, what we call it by the name as the e-retailing, it forecasted and predicted that business to business revenue will be much more exceeding rather than the business to consumer revenues in India. So that there are different categories through which the business to business transactions can take place. The first one is through company websites. See, the target audience of many company sites, other companies and their employees are here. So these sites usually they thought of as the round clock and mini trade exhibits. So many a time the company websites serve as the entrance for exclusive extranet available only to the customers or registered site users. Some of the companies sites usually sell directly from the site effectively in e-tailing to other businesses. So here in the company websites, usually we are going to give the details about the products and services available and directly can sell by use of this. Then the second one is product supply and procurement exchange. So these are the exchanges in which a company purchasing agent can shop for supplies from vendors and request for their proposals. And in some cases, they bid to purchase at the desired prices. So such sites usually they are referred as the e-procurement sites. So here many industries use focus as the niche market. And the third one is on the specialized or vertical industry portals. So these portals they will be having the product listing, discussion groups, and other features of the organization, and they have a broader procurement sites. They support buying and selling. There are also considered as there are few more like brokerage sites. Here, the brokering sites, the intermediary between the providers and potential customers will be there. Maybe like for the buying and selling of equipment, the leasing of them, all such things can be done through the brokering sites. And we also have information sites which come under here. The function of information sites is that they provide information about particular industry and its companies to their employees. So here they include the specialized search sites and also trade and industry standard organizations. So this is about the information sites. Now let us move on to the next one, which is the second category known as the business to consumer transactions. So this is also a part of e-business where customers directly transact with the companies, and companies will have their own websites which provide information about the product portfolio of the company. So customers visit the website, they select the products, they look into the every aspect of the feature of the product like the color, shape, based on the products or booking online, even the websites, what we are familiar with like Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, even booking of our food orders like Swiggy, Zomato, and booking of our automobiles like the Ola, Uber, all such things are come under this business to customer transactions. So they are the best example of this. So they are doing huge business on this. Now let us look into the third one, that is government to citizen. So here the initiatives have been made by the government of India to provide one-step access informations to the individuals. Like in many of the cases of booking of LPG or paying of our electricity bill, water bills, then vehicle insurance, even the tax payment, all such things. which are done are coming under the government to citizen transactions. And there are certain things like the fourth one, government to business transactions. Now let us understand what are these. See, the government to business transactions include the direct access of the data of any business organizations by the government for many of the uh, uh, actions which were supposed to be taken up. Say, for example, a company can have their informations on their websites and in the given format to the to the government with one data which is appropriately mentioned in the electronic medium. The government can access or use the same data for different kinds of actions, like maybe for the payment of education cess, or for the payment of income taxes, or maybe even for corporate taxes, or even for VAT. All such things can be done. This is known as government to business transactions. Say one common familiar example, what we can come across in academics in the recent days is that in the university systems, we follow one university unified management system conditions. Under that, the details of the institutions, universities, all these things are put, and the informations from there can be utilized for the purpose of scholarship of students like that. So that is one best example of this government to business transactions. Now let us understand the next concept, benefits of e-commerce. In the examination, this can be asked for 10 marks. The benefits or advantages of e-commerce. The huge advantage or the benefits of e-commerce can be studied like this. Firstly, e-commerce operations can be done in a round-the-clock transaction. That is, it is available 24 bar 7. Any person, any customer from any part of the world, just by a natural click, they can function the business transaction. That is the advantage of e-commerce. Secondly, the e-commerce transactions through internet, they have global reach. We mean that meaning of the term global reach is that from any part of the world you can have the access. Then the third one is cost of acquiring, serving and retaining customers is reduced. So compared to our traditional marketing activities, the cost of acquiring services and retaining the customers by the usage of internet or e-commerce is much less. An extended enterprise is easy to build. We mean to say that an extended enterprise here is whatever the transactions we are going to conduct through the internet is known as the virtual organization. So here, usually all the way the companies, there is no need to extend their needs like suppliers, business partners, distributors, whatever. You can just directly meet your customer, directly transact with your customers. This encourages the direct marketing activities also. So that is why the fifth one you can identify that there is disintermediation. When you use e-commerce, you can avoid all these intermediaries like your retailers, agents, wholesalers, whatever it is. This cut down the level of the intermediation for marketing activities. Through the internet or e-commerce, we can also improve the customer services because in most of the time, directly the customers will be searching for our product and we do supply our product directly to the customers. Just by click and the way they are going to search their engine through internet, we can come to access their satisfaction and that may increase more sales also. It also provides the best for both the worlds. That is here benefits the traditional business as well as the internet tools also. So this is the advantage of internet business. Then here, instead of the unlike the traditional markets, technology business customer interface can be built. So in the earlier businesses, the customer used to conduct a transaction on the face-to-face or even the medium of using the telephones or through the store clerks or managers, etc. But here in case of e-commerce, we can build a platform of customer interaction through using our monitors, computer monitors, or ATMs machines, electronic devices for that matter. Then customer controls the interaction. We mean to say that at the most of the websites, the customer tries to control the screen to face interaction. That web largely employs self-services models, managing commerce and community-based interactions. See here, the customer search process, the time spent on various products, search of their product, price, etc. This shows the person's decision either to purchase a product or not to purchase a product. So most of the time in your mobile phone screens or in computers, you might have observed if you have searched for one particular product at a time, the next moment when you visit that website, related products will start appearing like based on your interest. So this is how even the customers choices can be identified, or overall we can say that the consumer behavior can be identified very easily by e-commerce. So that is what in the point 10th also they have discussed, the knowledge of customer behavior can be analyzed. Once you start visiting and searching for the details of a products and services, the companies track individual consumer behavior, like how many times you have visited the website and for what type of pages you have searched, what kind of products you are willing to purchase, or what type of products you are willing to know about, all these things. Even the purchase amount, the complete transactions details will be available to most of the organization. So in such a way, they track consumer behavior and also identify the attitudes of customers towards different products available. Now, network economies, we mean to say that network economies is that rather than getting the information of the products in the place where you're going to purchase and get the products details and all, through the network medium, huge amount of information about the product sharing will be done. So, in such way, the economies of information occurs about the products. So here the service components and other things will be available just by the click. And e-market or e-commerce provides the feature of ubiquity. So the feature of ubiquity is that the customer is made available to purchase the products at all the type of products at all the time spaces. So just by using the cell phone also this can happen. That is why it is known as a provision for market space. It is market space. Now let us understand the evolution of e-commerce in India. Evolution or transition of e-commerce in India. So under this topic, we will be understanding the how the e-commerce business evolved in India and how it started. So this started in the year 1970 when a pharmaceutical firm known as the Baxter Healthcare created the B2B model using telephone-based model for hospitals to reorder the supplies from Baxter. In the year 1980, a PC-based remote order enter system was introduced based on the electronic data interchange standards. In 1981, the first large-scale B2C model-based digital transaction was made, and this is known as the Minitel. It was introduced by the French Videotex system. In 1994, AT&T, Volvo, Sprint, and others started banner-based advertisements. In 95, the first sales of banner ad space was done by Netscape and Infosys. In the year around 2006, e-commerce services were also launched, like as you people are familiar these days, the ticket booking and the travel services, the retail services of products, online banking, all these things were added from the year 2006. So based on this evolution in India, the development of e-commerce has been divided into three phases. So based on the time period, it is divided into the three phases. The first period of time starts from the year 1995 to 2000. This is known as the period of invention. From the year 2001 to 2006, this is known as the period of consolidation. And from the year 2007 till today, this is known as the period of reinvention. So these are the three major time periods from which the e-commerce in India started evolution. Now let us understand what happened at the time period of the first one, that is from the year 1995 to 2000, which is known as the period of invention. So as the term invention indicates here, it is newly invented at that time period. We can say that these are the initial stages of e-commerce in India. So at this time period, usually it involved selling of simple retail products over the internet, but there was no bandwidth for the complex product, and the marketing was carried by using simple static ads and static web pages. And later, when the search engines were more made powerful and the developed, that is the present stage now. But earlier days, the search engine was not so powerful. Around 2000, stock market found a great fall at that time period because the companies disappeared due to the dot-com crash. So e-commerce created a milestone in the commercial history where internet was connected to the personal computers, creating the local area network. Then the universal communications was made possible by creating the freely accessible HTML pages with cheap computers. The term HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Okay. So e-commerce played a major role economically at the earlier time also. So it was many of the brands were made available to consumers over internet by creating the market space for them. Now let us understand how was the condition at that time period. So there is an equal distribution of price, cost, and quality, reducing information asymmetry. Usually, it decreases the search and marketing cost. Intermediate costs were reduced, as we have discussed this earlier. Then price changing cost of products is very much low compared to the shop available products. And this is friction-free e-commerce, but managed by adjusting the price of product on demand. And a new firm can easily build the brand name and recognition by expecting the customer base. So new technologies were applied to create informative and community-like features. Like in the, as we mentioned earlier, there was no broad bandwidth. So that is why the static ad and static web pages were using. So they started improving that from the next second period onwards. So the second generation or the second phase of is known as the period of consolidation. So under this period, the technology as well as the business was driven. So strengthening the brands became more important than creating the brands in the second phase. So financing companies moved on to capital markets under the second phase, and along with retail services, even the travel and financial services were added on to e-commerce. So the business upgraded with the presence of broadband network and the cheap personal computers. Better search engines were also implied for marketing over the internet. Even the ads were based on the user queries, and rich media and videos were utilized. Behavioral target on customers were also carried on, and even multiple websites were created for each products at this stage. Now the third one is known as the period of reinvention. So this period of e-commerce shows the growth of blogs, videos, photos, and sharing apps and wikis for their content. So this is the present scenario what we are using. The use of mobile phone devices has become very common, as you people are aware, and even the cloud computing by selling the unused assets like the even for the cars, the spare rooms, the personal time, all these things. So this e-commerce considered to be the business oriented, technological oriented, as well as the sociological. Even the entertainment content is also considered as the major source at this time period. So as we pursue with the social network, the word of mouth, and the virtual marketing and analytical tools for personal marketings, even the fields having static website pages were moved to the apps and social networks for expanding their bands. So in the present, As we have discussed about the blogs, videos, photos, sharing apps, wikis, and all these things, what people are much more aware of the social networking and all, like the Twitters, the Facebooks. You might have observed many people do prepare their YouTube channels and release their products and all. So all such things are the period which comes under the period of reinvention or the present time period. Now let us understand the application of e-commerce, where it can be applied, or what are the uses of e-commerce applications, or which are the areas you can come across in the e-commerce sectors. The most common e-commerce applications include the retail and wholesalers. So which is known as e-retailing or online retailing, which refers to transaction of goods and services through online stores, from business to consumers. So it is achieved through means of virtual shopping carts, e-catalogs, and application of e-commerce in this sector is very numerous. The second usage, or the most commonly applied area, is the area of finance. So here the finance and e-commerce are more connected. So what we are aware, the banks and stock markets use e-commerce significantly in their operations. Now online banking provide provisions for us to check our balance, bill payments, money transfers. Then online stock trading enable people to carry out the trading electronically by giving information about the stocks and shares and all. And even the performance reports, analysis, the charts through various websites can be understood. All these come under the financial transactions, even the payment of billing, everything. Now, the third area is manufacturing sector. So, if you look into the manufacturing sector, e-commerce form a medium of companies to execute electronic exchange. Like combined buying and selling activities will be taking place, sharing of the market status, inventory stock informations. All these enables companies to fluidly carry out their operations. Now, the one next application is on auctioning. So applying e-commerce to auctions takes place in a more significant manner, where more number of people can participate without any geographical boundaries. So this leads to more participation and more negotiation. So this helps to make the auction more successful compared to the earlier days. Another application under e-commerce is marketing activities, like the pricing of the product, then searching for the features of the product, building customer relationship, and many other aspects which are much more related to the marketing activities have been enhanced with the use of technology. Like digital marketing strategies have become more significant way to promote our business. Then giving attractive advertisements, all those things come under the e-commerce. Another application is on online shopping. So we are all of been very much aware of the massive changes which has taken place in the last few years, especially. Usually, we can say that go online has become the mantra now for purchase and selling of our products. Now, online shopping has become much more convenient since most of the time it is available and cost effective. The prosperity of online shopping apps, as you people are aware, like the Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, all these are the examples of this online shopping. Okay. Another area where it can be applied includes the mobile and web applications. So, popularly called mobile commerce or m-commerce applications. These are all the subsets of retailing e-commerce. Mobile or web applications which are developed become the staple for brand to showcase their business capabilities. So, consumers carry out purchase through their mobile applications and optimizing for the retailers. So these applications ensure the payment security through safe payment modes. Then it is also useful for online booking. So traveling industry or tourism industry has become one of the booming sector, which is utilizing more and more number of online bookings. So you people are aware with the travel essential services like booking of the flight tickets, railway tickets, or even the hotel rooms. or going for tourism packages, any type of tourism for that matter, etc. So through the e-commerce it is made very convenient to the customers. Then online publishing, so this is a very common one, especially in academics. The people in academics will be knowing all these things. The more and more number of digital magazines, journals, research books, e-books are available, which are replacing the traditional printed books, etc. So this is also more portable and lightweight, accessible to everyone. So online publishing or e-publishing is also rising and more popular nowadays. Another application is e-banking, which we have discussed already in terms of the finance applications. So e-banking, popularly known as the internet banking. So e-commerce application has simplified the time which was used to be consumed by the consumers, even to take up the checkbooks or whatever it is through our online transactions. Virtual banking has been much more made much more effective to their customers. Now, let us understand the impact of electronic commerce on the business. So, electronic business or the impact of electronic commerce has made in many areas of business transactions or in the business disciplines in everyday transactions. One such thing is, the most important one is the management information system. So management information system relates to all the types of data process analysis, design and implementation of e-business systems in the organizations, issue of integration of front end and back end systems. So every organization will be having their own data content, and through that information provided over there, the day-to-day decisions are made in the organizations, which is known as the management information systems. When it comes to the terms of human resource management, it has its own implications. Like, as people are aware, the functions of human resource include recruiting, selecting, training, and even performance appraisal, all these things. Through e-commerce or through internet, these things can be done nowadays. What we call it as the online recruiting, online selecting, online training activities, online performance appraisal systems, everything. Now, in the field of finance and accounting, the online banking issues the transactions of online auditing implications, like intangible assets and human capital must be tangibly valued. All these are increasing the knowledge based economy. Then economics, the impact of e-commerce on local and global economics is understanding the concept of digital and knowledge based economy and the global economies. Understanding the concept of digital and knowledge based economy and how this fits into economic theory. Now, let us understand its implication on the production and operations management. Not only the area of marketing, finance, or economics has its inflection, even production and operation cycles also has the influence of technology. So here, the impact of online processing has led to reduce the cycle times. They have reduced the deliver digital products. Then utilization of time processing orders can be reduced. Then production systems are integrated with the finance, marketing, and functional systems, as well as with the business partners, as well as with their customers. This is through the e-commerce. Then marketing. So many of the advertisements, the marketing strategies, and even to analyze the consumer behavior and culture, all these systems have been utilizing the e-commerce technologies. So one of the areas in which the particularly direct marketing in the past, we used to go for door-to-door delivery and home parties, mail orders using the catalogs, and nowadays it is under the direct marketing concept. Now, in the implication, we do have the computer science, the development of different networks, computing technologies, and language support, e-commerce and e-business, like linking of front and back office legacy systems and web-based technology. All these are the implication of computer sciences. There are various aspects even which are considered with the business law and ethical aspects. So we have been using the copyright laws, privacy of customer information, and legality of electronic contracts nowadays, which are because of the e-commerce terminology. Well, in India particularly, we are facing different kinds of challenges when it is concerned with the e-commerce. The firstly, in India, the cash on delivery is preferred. Most of the time, you might have observed when you order for a product or service to receive. So then, payment on delivery, that concept will be there. The caption will be given. So most of the time, the on delivery of the product, the consumers will be paid. So that is the most challenging one in Indian marketing system. So most of the people they try to prefer to pay their cash on delivery, maybe because of due to the low credit diffusion and low trust in the online transactions. So not like electronic payments, the manual connection is quite expensive. Secondly, there are infrastructural problems in India since e-commerce is always concerned with well-developed backbone of internet penetration or internet connections. In India, the penetration of internet connection is much less compared to many parts of the world. So that is a challenging one. And then in the another challenge is that most of the time when the company tries to deliver its products after receiving the order from the customers to reach their customer to reach their houses, if they ask about the exact location, the address given is not much proper to reach the destination because most of the individuals are not standardized while writing the postal addresses. So that has shown as the biggest challenges while delivering the product. And compared to other parts of the world, the when it considered to the cyber laws, it cyber laws also very much less in India. So based on the information technology bill passed by the Indian Parliament in the year 2000 May 17th, this intends to tackle legislatively for growing the problems in the e-commerce. Then privacy and security concerns. So in case of the startups and small businesses, the business owners pay to take up initial step to secure their and protection on their online business installations. Then payment and tax related issues. The tax rate payment of Indian market is another factor which is considered as a very challenging one because even that is not at a much higher growth rate for the e-commerce in India. So in countries like USA and UK, which are considered to be the developed countries, the tax reforms are uniform. But in India, this varies from one sector to another sector. So that is also another challenge. And most of the time, what is hindering factor in e-commerce is the touch and feel factor, what we call it as the tangibility. So many a time when we purchase physically by visiting a shop, especially if it is the thing of apparels or handicrafts and even the jewelry, the customer tries to look into that by touching it and sometimes wearing it also. So those things are very much absent in the e-commerce. So that is also one of the hindering factor. And shipping challenge is also considered as one of the challenges in the Indian market because issues related to lack of supply chain integration, high delivery charges, and if the products are delayed, consumers may also may not be interested to take this. So they'll be in a frustrated way. They simply reject. So that becomes another challenge. And product return and refund, etc., are may cause more revenue losses for the organization if the customer rejects. That is one thing. And customer services, e-marketers just focus on the website performance. Many a time, though we consider they are going to understand the consumer behavior, they try to ignore the customer relationship and personal assistance to the customers, which is much absent in the e-commerce. That is one thing, the challenging factor. Again, in your examination, the challenges of e-commerce sector in India can be asked for 10 marks. Now let us understand the different technological building blocks which are underlying the e-commerce. Usually, it is the internet, web and mobile platform which act as the backbone for the e-commerce. So internet, the first backbone of e-commerce. So this is concerned with the interconnection of computer networks which are built on common standards to spread globally, called as internet systems. So again here, a well-developed growth of internet is considered to be the important factor which is developed, which is supportive in e-commerce. So with the introduction of graphical user interface for web in 1993, they took 10 years to accumulate around 53% of US share. So internet generally helps in interconnecting the individuals through the messages, mails, and document sharing, and even through the shopping criteria. Now the second one is the web. Web is known as a subset of internet. So this is the information system which is comprised of collection of documents and other resources which runs over the internet. These resources from any location can be accessed from the browser and by using the web addresses. And this is known as the URL. Like the term is Uniform Resource Locator. So earlier, internet was used for messaging, even for document sharing and remote computing. But with the introduction of web in the 1990s, made internet more powerful with the collection of web pages, the graphics, voice, animations, texts, and all these things, and which are created by the HTML. Like HTML is hypertext markup language. So the size of web is increasing exponentially every day. Now, the third one is a mobile platform. See, this is the device technology of internet infrastructure. It allows the software or services over the internet to run through the mobile devices. Here, the mobile devices include the systems like our laptops, tablets, the small smartphones, what we use every day, all these things. Usually, the mobile platform plays a very important role in improving the e-commerce in India since majority of the population will be having the smartphone and they are familiar with the usage of the smartphone also. Now let us understand the contents of Information Technology Act of 2000. Highlights of IT Act of 2000 are as follows. It was the IT Act by the layman has the salient features. The first one is electronic contracts are legally valid. Then legal recognition accord to the digital signatures. Digital signatures are to be effected by the use of asymmetric crypto system and hash functions. Security procedures for electronic records and digital signatures. It also stresses for appointment of certifying authorities and controller of certifying authorities, including the recognition of foreign certifying authorities. Controller has to be appointed who will act as a repository to all the digital signatory certificates. There are various types of computer crimes which are defined and stringent penalties provided under this act. So what you people are very commonly understood like the cyber crimes and all. So these are dealt with this act. Appointment of a justification of officer for holding inquiries under the act. It also includes the appeal from order and adjusting of officer contraventions committed inside the network services providers not to be liable in certain cases. Then power to police officers and other officers to enter into any public place and search and arrest without the warrant in case of cyber crimes. Then constitution of cyber regulations advisory committees to advise the central government and the controller. So the highlights of IT acts include these major areas, and based on this, certain laws, the rules and regulations are made. There are certain limitations as far as the e-commerce is concerned. Though it has a number of advantages and applications, Let us understand the limitations of e-commerce. In the examination, this can also be asked for 10 marks. The first one is the security issue. So this may be considered as the major drawback of e-commerce. It is the issue of security. So people generally fear to provide personal information, especially the financial transactions. And even though several improvements have been made in relation to the data encryptions, certain websites do not have the capability of conducting with these things authentically. And there will be fear of providing the credit card information, the risk of identity limits, etc., has been grown. So the security issues, one of the major concern. Then lack of privacy. So many websites do not have high encryptions for secure online transactions. So sometimes the websites illegally collect the statistics from the consumers without their permission, and that is considered as the privacy discouragement for the people. Then fear. Another fear factor is that people fear to operate in paperless and faceless electronic transactions. Since we have been used with the transactions through the paper and face-to-face transaction over a period of decades, from post-independence time period, still there is time for us to get adjust to this online transactions. Without the physical existence, people in India especially fear for going for commercial transactions. So this makes many people even today to opt for physical stores for their transactions. Then product suitability. People have to rely on the electronic images and purchase the products and services based on the images. Since the lack of touch and feel effect, that is one of the drawback for online shopping. Then cultural obstacles. E-commerce attract customers from all over the world, the habit and culture of the people. And that is, as you are aware, the culture and the habits in this pattern of purchase or preferences vary from individual to individual across the globe. So here, many a time, the people may also face problems in uh, selecting the products. They may also face the problems associated with the language, differences in the culture, preferences, etc. There could also be many a time the legal issues which are concerning the cyber laws, which are grown through e-commerce transactions, are not very clear, and it vary from country to country. So such issues prevent people from entering into electronic contacts. So this is one of the major issues. Still in India, though there are many type of cyber crimes and cyber crime creating awareness creating programs which we come across, they are still in the infancy stage. We can understand. Now, so with this, we come to conclude about our first unit of e-commerce, that is introduction to e-commerce. I think we can have a look on our progress. So in your books, in the page number 17, they have given a few questions on, uh, uh, these are MCQ type of questions, like electronic commerce is defined as the online exchange of dash between firms and also between the firms and their customers. So options include money, services, goods. See, the correct answer is this transaction include both money, services, goods as well as. So it is all of the above. Now, what is the definition of e-commerce? It is conducting of business and communication transactions by the electronic medium. The dimension of e-commerce that enables commerce across national boundaries is called global reach. So when we have transaction between different nations or cross-border transactions, we call it by the term global reach. Now, which of the following is an example of e-business? So there are different options like Amazon's print test page, mobile app, Amazon.com website. The correct answer is Amazon's inventory control system. This is one of the example for e-business. Now, which of the following is used to purchase products at different locations from any customer location at any time? So this is through e-commerce. The term what we use for this is market space. It is market space. Okay, so with this, we conclude with the first chapter. Only I could complete one unit. In the next unit, that is the second unit, I'll just interact for a few seconds. So the second unit is about managing the electronic commerce. So in the first unit, we learned about the different definitions and the different aspects which are associated with the e-commerce, like how it evolved in India, what are its applications, or which are the areas which we come across e-commerce and all, its advantages and disadvantages, and what type of technology support e-commerce. Now, second unit is all about your managing electronic commerce. Now, in this system, in this unit, we will be understanding about how we are going to manage with the electronic commerce. So, e-commerce is a modern business methodology. So, here under this, we try to involve in improving the qualities of goods and services and providing proper informations and then increasing the speed of service delivery to customers, etc., which is basically done uh, through the World Wide Web, what we call it as the term WWW, through the internet. So usually it doesn't require employing salesperson or acquiring the luxury showrooms and thereby spending less time. So the faster consumer response, improved service qualities, minimizing the product life cycles, and all these are the differences between the product purchase time to delivery are the main goals of e-commerce. So when we come mean the managing the e-commerce, this include many online stores which have been started their own businesses. An e-commerce venture is usually a relatively low cost project compared to the earlier days organizations. So it is still necessary to analyze the possibility of business becoming more profitable. So for example, a market study should be done to analyze what kind of potential competition and growth opportunities are available under e-commerce. Then what prices you are supposed to offer, what should be your product, who are supposed to be your target segment, what are your strengths and weaknesses, and what type of advantages and disadvantages you may come across when you enter into e-commerce. All these things are the questions which need to be answered to understand the term managing of electronic commerce. So companies generally compete on various ways, both in the physical as well as the digital domains. So we need to understand all these things. So any company which wants to be an e-commerce platform, they try to sell and know the internet environment. So online market space, removing these needs, it's very much important to understand even the social media and social media interactions, all these things. So companies which have the physical business and develop e-commerce capabilities have it easier because they are greater credibility than those which